Good morning, and how are you today? I have a great new recipe for you. I've never tried this before, I've never made it before. So this is a complete and utter experiment for myself. And that is Nasturtium leaf wine. I have recently made a wine made from nasturtium flowers, but I'm wondering what a wine made from nasturtium leaves are going to be like. So I think we should crack on with an experiment. Oh yes, I do love to mess around with flavours and see what I can make from stuff, random stuff, any stuff I want to try and make a wine from it. And I do love a good nasturtium leaf in a salad. They're pepperish, they're tasty, they're bold, strong, in your face. And I think that flavour would go really well in a white, tender, delicious wine. That pepperiness would bring out that sweetness. So this morning, I went out to pick 3 pints of nasturtium leaves from my bush. Just lightly compacted into a pint glass. Once 3 of them have been filled, you know you have enough. Well, at least I think it's going to be enough. That is my guesstimation. I think 3 pints is going to make a wonderful wine. Down the line, next year, I may alter the recipe. But if I do, I'll leave it down below in the written recipe in my blog, any updates I make to the method or the recipe. And if you hadn't have noticed, down below in the description, there is a link to my website where I list all of my wines I make in a written recipe format for you to read as well as watch the videos. So go and check it out. Anyway, really simple wine. 3 pints nasturtium leaves, going into a fermentation bucket. As always, the equipment has been pre-sanitized and pre-sterilized before use. So I'm going to put my 3 pints of nasturtium leaves, stalks as well, into the bucket. And also a couple of very pretty yellow flowers, nasturtium flowers, because I think that flavour from the flowers and the colour that they give will just tinge the wine a nice golden bright colour. So shove your leaves right the way in. Sometimes the simplest recipes are the best, and I'm going to be adding a kilo of granulated sugar straight on top of the leaves. Really simple. And then a gallon of cold water. Sometimes I would add boiling water or hot water to dissolve the sugar. But I do not want to add warm, hot, boiling water to these leaves, as I don't want to cook them or burn them or singe them in any way. That would add a caramelised, burnt flavour to the wine, which I don't think would really go well with that peppercorn aroma and flavour from the leaves. The sugar will dissolve in time. Give it a good shake and give it a good stir and a good shake, and that sugar will start to dissolve, especially if you put your fermentation bucket in a lovely warm place. So pour over your 1 gallon's worth of water. And then put a lid on, a quick shake to get things moving. And also a trusty stir. And yeast-wise, I'm going to be using a mead yeast, because generally mead yeasts do contribute a broader, rounder, fuller, yeasty experience happening in the wine. And I think that's going to really complement that pepper nasturtium leaf flavour coming through. It's bold, it's big, it's strong. It's not strong as in a dark red wine, burgundy style, that's heavy, but this is going to be a light wine with a decent bite behind it. So I'm adding a mead yeast, but you can use any type of yeast you fancy. Whatever your preference is, whatever you have available. I even think bread yeast would work well. Bread yeast would work really well, I mention it. That doughy flavour from the bread yeast. That doughy flavour, that fresh baked bread aroma would complement the pepper. You know what? I'm going to run to the kitchen and get some bread yeast. If you want to know more about using bread yeasts in wine, you can check out this video all about bread yeasts in wine up by here, and I will see you with a bread yeast. And I'm back with some bread yeast. I just think the flavour from the bread yeast would add a great deal to the pepper flavour of the nasturtium leaves. Be creative, mess around, experiment. If you don't experiment with your Because if you don't experiment and you always stick to your tried and tested recipes, either in a book or online, you will not develop your knowledge base and your skill set beyond what the author tells you. I'm sure that they experimented before writing their recipes. And surprisingly, 3 books here, no mention of nasturtium leaf wine, or nasturtium flower wine at that. So it just goes to show, you can make brilliant wines above and beyond what is published in books or online. And also, it means you're using what you have at your fingertips in your garden, down your allotment, what you forage. And that is one of the beautiful things about winemaking. You get to experiment and use what you have locally. I'm going to pour in 1 5-gram sachet of bread yeast into the wine, and for a bit more body, I'm putting in the peel of 1 banana, as well as the banana itself. Just chunk it up and shove it in there, because that banana is going to add a depth of body to your white wine. It's going to become fuller on the tongue and more mouthy feel. It's brilliant. Bananas do wonderful things in wines. And now you want to put your lid on with an airlock in and set your wine aside for 3 to 5 days in a warm place to let it start fermenting. And after that 3 to 5 day period, we will come back here and proceed with the next few steps. So I'll see you in a minute now. Good morning, and how are you? I'm back here now with the nasturtium leaf wine. It's looking fantastic. It's been stood for 3-4 days actually. It's looking really good in the fermentation bucket. It's given off such a sweet, pepperish aroma. It's looking really good as well. It's bubbling away nicely. And now is the time we need to put it into a demi-john. So I'm simply going to siphon it from the container into a clean, prepared, sanitized, sterilised demi-john. You know the score, you know the drill. Shove your siphon tube into the liquid, suck the other end, put it into the demi-john. It all is really good. And I just hope that the leaves don't clog up my siphon tube, otherwise I'll have to do the whole pour method, which I'm not very good at. The initial taste I've just had from the siphon tube, it's floral, it's pepperish, it's bold, it's strong, it's delicious. It's quite hoppy as well, which I'm surprised about. It has this hoppy flavour. It has this hoppy mouth feel as well. And I can't wait to do a taste test and review of this wine. That'll be coming up later on in the year, next year sometime, so stay tuned for those. The banana in there as well adds the body and the mouthfeel to the wine. It's working really well at this stage. Of course, you can never really tell how a wine is going to turn out at this stage. You can get ideas, you get the general gist of the flavours coming through, but you can't really tell how the end result's going to be. If you do try to judge a wine at this stage, whilst it's still fermenting, whilst it's still yet to be matured, it's like trying to judge how a toddler is going to be when they're in the 20s and 30s. Early days, it still has a lot to develop and lots of becoming to do. And there we have it, a full demi-john of nasturtium leaf wine. It has this slightly milky green tinge to it, but that will clear and become lovely and bright in due course. And the next step is to insert your airlock with liquid into the demi-john. Set it aside in a warm place if you can find a warm place, that is. It's really cold today, but I've got my heat mats on. Put on a heat mat, keep it warm, and ferment it away until all that sugar has been turned into alcohol, which is fantastic. And then rack as and when needed, bottle, drink, enjoy. But I will be doing a taste test of this wine down the line at some point. So stay tuned and subscribe and join me for that taste test of my Nasturtium leaf wine. I will see you all really soon, and you have fun now. Bye bye.